Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special Winter Games edition of the Beem and Dean Show. The Beem and Dean Show is a show we do twice a week on the KSEE24 CBS47 app with the sports director of KSEE24 and CBS47, Scott Bemis. I'm Dean Schiro, the production manager. We do the show twice a week. We do it on Mondays and Thursdays at 12:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. We just got done with the Winter Olympics. The closing ceremonies are over. Now Milan-Cortina is in our rearview mirror. Scotty, what are your opening thoughts?
Well, yeah, it's time to put a little bow, right, on this Winter Olympics. We're taping this on Friday, so we don't know the result of the men's hockey game, but that men's hockey tournament has been fantastic so far. Although there was one thing I didn't like about the tournament, the way it was structured, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But the greatest thing about the Olympics, right, is for guys like you and me who live, breathe, and die sports constantly, is that you have sports on in prime time and in the wee hours of the night, live from Italy every single night. We work odd hours sometimes. I get home around midnight, 1 a.m. I turn on the TV and I've got live, half pipe on. I've got live border cross on. So I'm going to miss it once it's gone.
I will too. I mean, the 9-hour time difference is got its positives and negatives. For example, it looks like Canada and the United States will be on a gold medal track. For those of you, like I said, we're taping on Friday. It'll be like at 5 a.m. on Sunday morning for when we watch it. But it's been a great Olympics. Really enjoyed it. Italy's been a great host. So we both came up with like our top 10 lists of things we liked. So Scotty, let's start with your list to start with. Here's the top 10 things from the Beam.
Yeah, this is what I consider to be the top 10 stories from these Winter Olympic Games. And of course, it's going to come from an American perspective. At number 10, though, I do get Norway's King Klæbo in there. He's just been unbelievable in these games. As we're taping this, 5 for 5 gold medals. He's got 10 career Olympic gold medals. He's, along with Michael Phelps, the only Olympians ever to be in double digits when it comes to career gold medals won. And whenever you're on a list with Michael Phelps and the Olympics, it's always a good thing, right? Speed skater Jordan Stolz, give it up for him.
Yes.
Flew a little under the radar, though, I'd say, with some of the other things going on. But when you win gold in the 500 and the 1,000, those are the two sprint events, marquee events in speed skating, especially with how good the Dutch are in that event. For Stolz to win 2 golds there. And again, might have another chance, at another gold. We don't know, as we're taping this, if he could win another one, and he also added a silver. Alana Myers-Taylor, winning gold in the monobob.
Yes.
I mean, you had to be rooting for her. She's a mom.
Yeah, I got more on it.
Looking for that gold medal.
Amazing.
Becomes the oldest Winter Olympics champion at 41 years old.
Wow.
Breezy Johnson winning the downhill, right? Breezy Johnson, what a great name for a downhill skier. And we kind of fell in love with Breezy, I think, during these Olympics. Her personality was...
Someone else did, right, Scott?
Yeah, somebody was already in love with her and decided to seal the deal there. As you saw, she got engaged at these Olympics in front of everybody. And Breezy said the best part about all that, Dean, was that Taylor Swift commented on her engagement on Instagram.
That's like 2 gold medals.
It is. That's, I know that you're excited whenever Taylor comments on one of your posts on social media. All right, let's get to the controversy, right? This is the top 10 stories, so it's not all positive here.
Not all positive.
USA wins silver in ice dancing. Some controversy there. They finished behind the French pair. Look like, to the untrained eye, which I would say you and I are untrained when it comes to ice dancing, that the Americans might have had a better routine there in that what they call it, the free dance, I think it is. 5
of 9 judges thought they had a better routine.
But for some reason, the French judge didn't feel that way. And
8 points better,
And look at that, a French pair ended up, I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying something, right? All right, let's move on. Number 5, the Quad God. Best nickname of the Olympics for sure.
Best commercials, too. I would say best hair, too.
Okay, and Ilya Malnan, by the end of the Olympics, they showed him in the stands. He was, cheering on Alyssa Liu in the women's individual competition. But, I mean, it was a huge story. I mean, I think he was unbeaten in something like 12 consecutive, competitions or something like that. And he was blowing away the competition. And then, the Olympic pressure, it's hard to measure what that can do to somebody. He finishes 8th. Lindsey Vonn, her Olympics lasted 4 gates in the downhill. We're hoping that Lindsay's okay, that her recovery goes well. I mean, it was a horrific, gruesome-looking crash there.
I believe she had another surgery today.
Did she? Okay.
I believe so.
But, it's still a huge story there, even though it came and went really fast.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers to Lindsey Vonn.
And you know what? I'll never rule anything out, even though her dad doesn't want her ever skiing again. Okay. I'm just going to say, I'm not going to be completely, I'd be a little bit surprised, more than a little bit surprised. But I'm not going to be fall out of my chair shocked if we saw Lindsey Vonn on another Olympics. I'm just telling you.
I'd love to see her in another Olympics, maybe in the broadcast booth. Let's keep her in one piece, right?
Michaela Schifrin there, that was a great story.
Yes.
Overcomes the demons, wins gold in the slalom, her premier event. And Michaela, I think, has done a great job as far as showing her personality during these Olympics, talking about mental health, talking about overcoming adversity and just putting things in perspective. Yep. As we mentioned, the U.S. men's hockey. We don't know if they won the gold or not when we're taping this. So that would have been probably at the top of the list because that would have been their first gold since 1980.
Absolutely.
But we do know the women won.
What a game.
And they did it in memorable fashion, Dean.
What a game.
Beating Canada in the gold medal game. And how about that move from Keller?
Amazing. Well, Scotty, you beat them 5-0 in the prelims, right? You probably go in thinking, all right, we got this. But Canada and gold medal games, everything ramps up, right? So Canada scores a shorthanded goal in the second period. The United States have to pull the goalie in the third period with about 2.5 minutes left. They score with 2:06 left. The captain, who also got engaged, Hillary Knight and Brittany Bowe got engaged. Yes. So congratulations to them too. Hillary Knight scores the goal. They go to the overtime, which I'm going to talk about. Actually, for the women, I believe it was you play until someone, I believe it was 3-on-3. There was going to be no shootout, I believe. I think they were just going to play it out. I believe so in the women's game. But anyway, hell of a win. Hell of a win.
Yeah, and definitely deserving to be number 2 on the
number one
on the list there. And number 1. Clovis's own Alyssa Liu, right?
We're claiming her. Back to the Fresno Clovis market.
We're claiming her. She was born in Clovis, Alyssa Liu, and she has a terrific story as well. And she wins gold in probably the marquee event in the Winter Olympics, right? The women's individual figure skating, and she was flawless in that final routine. Shout out as well to her teammate there, Amber, who kind of came back from a tough performance in the short program, and I think really finished off her Olympics with a positive moment as well. And even the silver and bronze medalists, both from Japan.
How about Alyssa going over to the girl who finished in third, and they're jumping up and down. She's shaking her like, you're a medalist.
And sportsmanship's going to be a big theme for what I really liked in these Olympics. We'll get to that in a minute, but let's get to your top 10. Maybe we can rip through this.
All right, here's mine. I'll rip through them because a lot of them are going to be the same. So the ice dancing controversy was number 10 on my book. Hey, we got to mention American Maxim Naumov. He made his Olympic debut for Team USA, but the one thing, his parents 1 year earlier died in that tragic plane crash in the Potomac River in Washington, D.C., coming back from a ice tournament, figure skating tournament. So this kid was just amazing. I mean, I was in tears. He's holding up his parents' picture. The Olympics didn't go the way he wanted, but it just shows sometimes the games are more than just medals. So
it's about being there sometimes.
Hey, listen, I got to get to something a little more comedic. There were some scuffles and cursing breaking out in men's curling, and it was not over beer. It was over the curling itself. It was about touching the stone after it passed the hog line.
Well, wait, from your experience, are most curling scuffles over beer?
I believe they're over beer.
From
cigars.
Your experience in your curling club?
From my curling club, it's more over,
that is something to get into a scuffle over.
Over beer.
I would admit.
Beer's the number one thing if you did like a chart or something. But
that's like, when guys go at each other in golf or something like that.
Yeah, so I believe it was Canada and Sweden got into it over some video surveillance of possibly touching the stone on the granite, not the handle, over the hog line.
Interesting.
So, very interesting. See, I've been doing my research. So,
yeah, I like that.
Number 7, I got to get to Alana Myers-Taylor. This woman is amazing, you guys. Not only did she win the gold at 41, like Scott said, she's got 2 children, 2 boys. One's got Down syndrome, and one of them is completely deaf. I think both boys actually are completely deaf. Watching her communicate with these kids, I was in absolute tears watching this. And for her to win at 41, she was so excited, trying to tell them in sign language, "Mommy won." It was just amazing.
You imagine juggling all that? Gee, that's amazing.
She said she's had some really great nannies. So Jordan Stolz is my number 6. Again, 2 golds and a silver and possibly more as we tape this on a Friday. Michaela Schifrin comes in at 5 for me. I got to mention at number 4, the German men swept the 2-man bobsled podium for the 2nd straight Winter Olympics. Gold, silver, bronze, all 3 spots. 2 straight Olympics. That's pretty amazing for the German men.
Okay.
So,
All right. I'm with you.
I've got Norway at number 3, recording a record 17 gold medals as we tape this. It could actually be more as we move on. And then obviously Johannes Klæbo, the winningest Winter Olympian of all time. And then my number 2 and number 1 are exactly the same as Scott. United States women win gold again. We don't know about the men yet, so that could probably be like a 1A, 2A kind of a thing. And then Alyssa Liu, all roads lead back to Fresno Clovis. I've told our own Angelique Martinez many times, who's doing a great job in Milan, by the way, that many times. So there's my list.
What I like about your list, Dean,
a
little more
worldly. A little different than yours.
No, a little more worldly too. You've got the the Germans in there for bobsledding, and you've got Norway with the cross country a little higher on the list. I like that.
I wanted to show a little, just that I was watching, I was paying attention. So let's get to what we liked about these Olympic Games. We're going to start with Scott's list. His is a little bit more extensive than mine. So here's Scott's list.
Yeah, I'll rip through them a little bit as well.
Yep.
But yeah, and apparently people are liking these Olympics because the ratings have been really good.
Great.
And people are back into it when it comes to the Olympics, which is great to see. I'm going to start with the fact that NBC has now fully committed to showing events live. And they've done this for a few Olympics now. And I was calling for it for years to do this and to then re-rack it later in prime time when you have, an Olympics happening in Europe or you have an Olympics happening in Asia where the time difference is so big.
Right.
And they've fully embraced this, and I think people are embracing this. In this day and age where social media, all this stuff, there's no way to not find out results, especially if you work in sports like I do.
Right.
So show them live, and they've done a terrific job of doing that. They created a channel, the Gold Channel. It's really cool. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a Red Zone for the Olympics.
Yeah.
And so, the second thing on my list there, the spirit of the freestyle snowboarders and skiers. This is the half pipers, the snowboard crossers, the slope style participants, the aerialists, all those people. It's fun to watch these events, Dean, because you get that figure skating and you feel that pressure and you kind of like that, right? That this is the biggest moment of somebody's life. And not that it isn't the biggest moment still for these people who are, in the half pipe, flipping around 8 times, before landing.
Right.
But you get the feeling that everybody's rooting for each other, that this sport is more about pushing the boundaries of the sport, and that if you come out with something new that's never been done before, you're going to be celebrated by everybody. How many times do we see it? They get down to the medal area or the, where they keep the first, second, and third down there after somebody lands an awesome trick, and everybody, all his fellow competitors are down there hugging him, so it's really cool.
Spirit of the Olympics, right, Scott?
Yeah, it's cool. And I think that brings a little young, fun element into the Olympics. Mm-hmm. I know I dig it, and I was watching a ton of it.
Yeah.
Alyssa Liu's attitude, we touched on it.
Oh, my God.
Her attitude was kind of like those freestyle ski. And she said she's gotten into skiing and snowboarding, so I see why maybe that's kind of rubbing off on her. But the way that she carried herself, in that quote-unquote kiss and cry area at the end, when she's 10 feet away from these other 2 skaters.
Yeah, she's got 2 skaters who have a lead on her after the short program that you want to beat, but you're also being supportive. They were all 3 of those ladies were amazing, and including the other American you mentioned, Amber Glenn. Yeah.
And so Alyssa Liu's attitude, it scores high in my opinion.
Cool. Mm-hmm.
I love the on-screen scoring and the transparency that we're now getting in figure skating.
I agree.
It used to be a huge problem back in the day. We didn't know what the judges were thinking. We didn't know where these scores were coming from. And there's still going to be some controversy. Obviously, we mentioned it with the French ice dancing thing, but it provides more transparency, and I like that. Snoop Dogg. How do you not love Snoop Dogg?
I've got him in there, too.
And I will say this. I actually enjoy Snoop Dogg more at the Winter Olympics than I did at the summer. And I loved him at the summer, too, but because these are the things that he's totally out of his element in, right?
Absolutely.
And it was really fun watching him. And he just seems to embrace these athletes, and these American athletes open up to him, and it's almost like they're excited to be with Snoop, and it creates a fun energy each night on NBC.
Is there a bigger star right now than Snoop Dogg at this moment? A couple years ago, he's the halftime show for the Super Bowl. Now he's on The Voice, which is on our station, KSEE24, and now he's at the Olympics.
He's
killing it.
Yeah,
the man is killing it.
He is almost like transcending like music, and he's jumped out of that space into just being Snoop Dogg, the guy that everybody loves, the American, like the entertainer / just good guy, and it's cool to watch.
Yep.
How about that figure skating announcing team?
Love it.
I know. You and me, we watch a lot of figure skating. We can talk to sport. Terry Gannon's great as the play-by-play, but Terry Lipinski and Johnny Weir, they hit a home run.
They do.
With the way that they broadcast. They provide a perfect mix of the technical and the artistic, and you sense that they are kind of in the heads of the skaters,
Right.
and they're going through the routines with them almost, right? You know,
Right.
and it just creates a drama and an energy around that competition. I think is absolutely
How about
great.
their sensitivity too? When these guys are spilling and they're falling, like not everyone's landing all their jumps, and the sensitivity and just the overall insight that they have is just really, really great.
And they explain things really well, some really
They
technical
do.
things really well. I don't know the name of who this is, but I just put the cross-country analyst on NBC. Just go back and listen to the final calls when the Americans won medals in the
Okay.
cross-country events.
Okay.
This guy goes insane.
Okay.
And I loved it. I
All right.
loved it. I was there for it.
Okay.
And then finally here on the things that I liked, the team events. You know, they're kind of introducing some new team events in
Yes.
some of these things. There was a luge relay. Right, so like the single loser went down, he hit something, and then the double loser started, and then he hit something, and then the men's loser went down, and then he hit. It was like, this is really cool. I
Yeah.
like this, and I love the team aspect of some of these events when they kind of get out of being individuals
Sure.
and they get to compete together for their country.
Like it.
Figure skating team competition, a great example of this
Agreed.
as well.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, Dean, would it be fun to maybe have some team elements of alpine skiing? Like,
Why not?
they have a little bit of it, right, in the slalom, downhill combined thing where they do it. But what about like your top 3 skiers, slalom skiers, all go down and it's a team
I like it.
total.
Or maybe mixed.
Or mixed. Yeah, mixed too. Yeah.
I have a question though. On the half pipe, I've always known them to have snowboards. I saw something last night where they were wearing skis and poles. Is that new? Do you know?
No, they have skiing half pipe now. Yeah,
Has
they have
that been?
skiing
'Cause
half pipe.
I saw that for the first time. I didn't recognize that from before. I always know them on snowboards. So that was something I just wanted to mention.
That's
really
something
quick.
that came over from the X Games.
Was
They
it?
didn't
Okay.
initially put it in
Okay.
like when they put snowboard half pipe
Sure.
in, but it's now become a part of the Olympics as well. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, here's my list. Some of them are the same as Scott's as well. I love the parade of athletes and the lighting of the Olympic torch in multiple locations. Italy did something really, really great. So, like, if you were in Cortina, they didn't make you go to Milan to do the opening ceremony. They had NBC would broadcast 4 different groups of opening ceremony athletes coming in from the United States. One in Milan, one in Cortina, and then the other 2 places they had a smaller scale. But
Yeah.
again, them coming in, and then they also lit cauldrons in Milan and Cortina. Very similar. I just thought it was so well done how Italy thought this thing out. I got to talk about, this is my motherland.
This is a good one.
The beauty of Italy, Italian culture, spirit of the country on full display. NBC did a great job of articulating this too, showing the architecture, the fashion, the art, the everything, the food. I mean, it's just not pizza
How
and
about
pasta.
some of those mountain scenes too?
How about some of those desserts? Sorry, I'm a foodie. Like Emily Irwin says too. Yeah, the mountains and just how beautiful everything is, and how beautifully it's shot, and then the use of the drones and everything. Just
The drones were cool.
Amazing. So, okay, we talked about this on Beem and Dean. The overtime rules for men's hockey. 10 minutes of 3-on-3 before a shootout. The NHL needs to revise their overtime rules. I do not like 5 minutes in the NHL. I think it's too short. Give them 10 minutes at least to try to get a winner. I think you're going to see a lot more goals scored in a regulation kind of setting, overtime setting, compared to having to go to a shootout. So Snoop Dogg, I got him too. American treasure. I mean, the man's American treasure. I love how engaging he is, and how welcome he is to all these guys, and how open-minded he is to like all these competitions, like, oh, this is cool. Like, I should try curling. I should try this. And very, very cool. The announcing team, again, of Terry Gannon, former North Carolina State basketball player, Tara Lipinski. She won a gold medal in Nagano. And then Johnny Weir, who's an Olympic ice figure skater as well. They do such a great job, like you said. I just really, really love them. And again, streaming. Streaming has completely changed the games and the Olympics in general. 24/7 coverage and on demand if you missed it live. So Scotty, oh my God, I missed it. Like the women's hockey, we were taping a show. I didn't get to see like the golden goal and all that. So what I do, I went on Peacock as soon as we were done, hit the button, and I got to really dial in right to where that goal was scored and got to see the medal ceremony. So that was very, very cool. So that's what we did like, Scott.
I like it.
What did we not like about these games? And we will start with your list.
Yeah, I've got a pretty long list here, so I'm going to rip through it to give Dean some time with his list as well.
Take your time. We're good. We still got about 10 minutes.
Okay, but I think NBC did a great job overall.
Agreed.
But the one little thing I missed was they had features, obviously in their primetime coverage, you know, on some of the athletes and this and that. But you remember those like Jimmy Roberts, I'm trying to remember who, like kind of like up close and personal, or on Italy or this and that.
Yep.
I mean, they did a great job of showing the beauty of Italy, but just those like behind the scenes fun features, like that you always get, like 1 or 2 a night. I think those always add to the Olympics. We didn't really get many of those during the primetime coverage. Okay. Freestyle skiing, snowboarding. We've talked about the judging, right, in figure skating, how it's become more transparent. They need to get this way with the freestyle skiing, snowboarding as well. Because some of the judging in the Olympics on this was a little out of whack, to be honest with you. The big air skier winner, he was not the guy who got the biggest air. Now, there may have been other reasons, technical tricks that he was doing that maybe made him a deserving winner. Okay. But for the common person at home, they didn't understand why the American didn't win, who was going way higher than the Norwegian guy who ended up winning. And the same thing with the snowboard slopestyle winner. I mean, winner. She only was doing 720s, whereas the defending champ was doing 1080s. Right. And then the 720 competitor ended up winning, and you're like, why is this happening?
Yeah, how did it happen?
And nobody has an explanation. They don't. There's got to be more transparency there. One thing about Ilya, obviously I understand, incredible disappointment, and I get it. I'm going to give him some latitude here, but it wasn't a great look when he was caught on the hot mic after struggling in his free skate of saying this is U.S. figure skating's fault because they didn't put me on the team in 2022.
Yeah, he would have gotten the experience. He was kind of going for that angle. It
wasn't a great look.
No, it wasn't.
All right, no consequences for this French judge, for this mysterious item. I'm just going to leave it at that and move on. Men's hockey tournament, here's my one problem with it. It's been great. The action on the ice has been awesome. All 12 teams advanced.
They did.
So what was the point of playing the preliminary games, Dean?
Just to get their feet wet, I guess, Scotty, just to get their feet on ice. And a lot of these NHL players, I guess, get him some reps in Europe, I guess, because they're coming right from, playing games in the NHL. But I agree with you. I think you can eliminate 4 teams and just go quarterfinals. Yeah.
Go 2 groups. Make these preliminary games more impactful. Make me care more about it, because I'm watching these preliminary games. I'm like, well, U.S. is going to be in the quarterfinals no matter how the puck bounces here, right? Curling. I love curling. I can watch a ton of curling. Have watched a ton of curling.
I have a curling play as well.
But Dean, do we really need 10 ends?
And possibly curling? An additional end.
Now, an end is like an inning in baseball.
Baseball, right?
Okay, so. These matches can last up to 3 hours.
Yes, they can.
I don't know. It feels like 6 or 7 ends might do the trick.
Okay,
for me.
That's fine. How about maybe 7 ends maybe during the preliminary rounds and maybe extend it to 10 when you get to the medal rounds? Maybe. I don't know.
I could buy that.
Professor Bemis style.
Okay. All right. This is something that's kind of intrigued me for a long time. I'm glad I got a public platform to say it. Why does style matter in ski jumping when you're just going for distance? Shouldn't this just be whoever jumps the farthest wins?
Yeah, I just think landing on skis would be a good thing, personally.
Well, you gotta land it. You gotta land it, right? Okay. Oh, let me add that in there. You gotta land it.
Land it, Scotty.
You can't land on your head.
You gotta land it.
You gotta land it. You gotta ski out of it. Okay.
I hear your point, though.
Okay.
Point taken.
The bobsled track was super tough.
It
was fun to watch.
It was.
But there was literally one turn where it was impossible to stay in the middle of the track.
Everybody hit the side. How did no one turn over, though? Because it seemed like some of those angles, it seemed like I don't know how some of those guys didn't turn over, but
okay. So I was a big fan of watching the bobsled.
I enjoyed the bobsled too.
But it's like, hey, we got to have at least a track where you can execute the turn correctly. Gotcha. I don't think it's possible by the laws of physics to not hit the wall coming out of that one turn.
Yeah.
Women's slalom course.
Oh boy, we're gonna get to this in a minute on mine. Go ahead.
It was confusing, and we might have been the only ones watching it live at 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. the night it happened.
I do have a slalom tape coming up.
This almost took Michaela Schifrin out of the competition, by the way, because apparently they gave the competitors a choice in the slalom at one point with their gates.
They did.
And this was super confusing to all of them. And you see Michaela for a second kind of hesitate as to where she's going. Thankfully, it worked out for her. Yeah. But there was like 10 or 15 skiers who all did the same thing.
I know as a watcher, I was just hoping she hit all the gates. I was a little confused.
And when I'm watching slalom going forward, by the way, can we put some clear indication? Like, it feels like we've got 8 gates for every turn out there on the mountain.
I just don't know which ones they're supposed to go down.
I never know when they ski out because I'm like, I don't know which one they were supposed to go to.
I'm just watching the clock, and I'm just watching to see if they keep going down the mountain if they don't stop. So go ahead.
All right, should we consider giving 2 runs here?
Okay.
only best time counts for events like the downhill and the Super G. What do you think? Or do you like the drama of only the one run?
Yeah, I think 2 runs good. I mean, some of the other things they were doing, they were giving them multiple chances on, like half pipe and stuff. You know,
well, like in slalom, you get 2 runs.
Yeah, I like it. Why not?
Giant slalom, you get 2 runs.
Why not?
I just feel like it might eliminate a little bit of the pressure of that one run, right? And maybe athletes could perform at their best.
I got you.
Loosen them up a little bit.
Yeah, Olympic pressure is a big thing.
All right, so this is going to be funny. I'm interested to get your reaction to this. Isn't a sport as emotional as like ice skating?
I have this on mine.
Do we need to have the current leader 10 feet away from the current skater getting their scores who might have just experienced one of the worst moments of their life?
Right. Well, let's talk about Amber Glenn for a second. She started the free skate in 12th. She moved herself all the way up to, at one point, she was still in the lead with 4 skaters left. So is she supposed to like root against the other guy? She's sitting there on her chair. Is she supposed to go, God, I hope this woman falls? No, you know, she's going to be supportive. So the other 4 actually, she finished in 5th because the other 4 passed her on score. But it's very awkward. It's an awkward situation, right?
It's like, I've said it before, it's kind of like making the runner-up in a tennis major have to speak to the crowd.
Right.
It's almost mean to do that.
It's almost like putting like the person like behind the goalpost waving, like hoping they miss the kick.
Right. But it's like let them go,
the other kicker.
Let them go back into the locker room, you know, kind of. I don't know. It just struck me as funny that they're literally that close, you know, and then they're applauding, they're having to do all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And then finally here, this is a small little beef on my part, but I watched a little bit of mountaineering the other day online. It's kind of cool. Like I liked it, but it got like no play. They just mentioned it the other night on primetime. Maybe it got a little more play, you know, in the shows after we taped this. Who knows? But you know, it's just like, if you're going to introduce a new sport and, you know, and NBC's going to play it up a little bit, well, we got to at least kind of
give us a little background on it.
Let's get into it a little bit.
Curling, it took us forever to figure that out. So, all right, here's my list. I want more curling in prime time. I mean, maybe we have less ends, but I still want more curling. It's just the drama.
Less ends, more curling.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, more hockey on the main network as opposed to Peacock or USA. I'm just kind of saying out loud, like, for example, as we do this on a Friday, the Canada-Finland game was not on NBC. It was on Peacock. It wasn't even on USA, by the way. In a sport as emotional as Olympic ice skating, do we need to have the current leader? Again, same thing, just like what Scott said. I just put kind of awkward. No consequences for the French judge for the mysterious ice dancing scoring is absolutely horrible. Again, I just want to mention the French pair were scored 8 points better than the American pair of Chalk and Bates. And then 5 of the 9 judges ruled that Chalk and Bates were better, and they ended up with silver. So not happy with that at all. Women's ice skating finals so late in the games. I want to flip ice dancing and ice skating. Women's ice skating, the singles, and flip ice dancing, flip those 2. Let's get a little bit more interest going, because I know a lot of people like watching the women's compete in the ice skating.
So you're saying finish the Olympics with the ice dancing?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
interesting.
And start more right out of the gate. Guns blazing with women's.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say this. I enjoy watching from an entertainment value. Pairs figure skating, both the ice dancing and the pairs, than I do the individual, because I think it's more fun to watch 2 people try to stay synchronized and what they can do together than an individual. I totally appreciate the athleticism and everything involved with the individual.
And the most important thing I didn't like with the Olympics, the beams handicapping of women's slalom.
What didn't you like about this?
So Lena Dore, who I did have a fantasy play on after I saw my man was so passionate about Lena Dore, she didn't even get out of the first gate.
Wait a minute. She was in second place after the first run, Dean.
It was a horrible handicap on my man's part. If you guys want to see good handicap, watch the Beem and Dean Monday and Thursday, 12:30.
This is blasphemous here. She was 4-1 to medal. 4-1. She's in second place after the first run.
I know. I know. You're just giving me a hard time.
Yeah.
Scotty, I've enjoyed doing this show so much with you. It's been an absolute blast. Guys, we're almost out of time. Please watch the show. We're on every Monday and Thursday, 8:30 at night, 12:30 in the afternoon. We do handicapping. We talk about the big things in the day. We talk about the Fresno market. We talk about all the local sports and on a national level. So, Scotty, any last thoughts before we got to go?
All right, one Olympic sport.
Yep.
You get to do it one time. What would you do?
I would do curling because I wouldn't have to lose any weight.
If I had the guts, I'd love to go down on a bobsled and steer it.
All right, fair enough. All right, guys, like I said, please watch our show. Thanks for watching this special edition of Beem and Dean, and we will see you on the other side.